Good morning. Hello. Good morning to Moray. To Moroy. That's not an A. Hello. How are you doing today? Shawshank has to be my favorite movie. It is not. It's too I don't know, it's too dark. It's too stressful to be a favorite movie. Hello, Isitsu. Good morning. And the entire Brooks was here thing is not like that's not like a bright thing either. I don't know. If I wanted to like a movie just because it had my name in it, I think I want it to be more funny, more lighthearted, more fun. Yeah, it's a sad but wise character, true, but still at the same time, I want like when I watch movies these days, I have so much stress in my life already. I don't want to watch something that adds to that stress. But I feel like there's so much like people love drama movies and TV shows. So I just been avoiding those. And I haven't been rewatching anything that sort of adds to that either. All right. So, where are we right now? Well, I guess first of all, there was a question in Discord. So I figured I might be able to chat about that just a little bit really quickly because I know this is like a super popular topic all the time. Which is how do I can't find any jobs for juniors, especially in the United States. I don't know about Europe. I don't know about the rest of the world. But here in the United States, you don't find very many advertisements for junior positions anymore. I mean, there never used to be like a huge glut of them compared to the number of juniors out there. But I think it's gotten worse. It's basically a lot of companies have decided, nope, not going to advertise for those jobs. It doesn't mean they're not willing to hire juniors. It just means they're not willing to advertise for them. And there's a couple of reasons why. The biggest one is because if you advertise for a junior job, you get way more resumes coming in. And that's not a good thing because these are low quality resumes. People who have never coded before, people who claim to have coded for like 30 years, but don't really know how to. It just basically gives you a lot of really low quality interviewees, applicants. And so that's one way of sort of toning that down is to ask for more than a junior. So like ask for more of a mid, ask for more of a senior, but be willing to accept a junior. And the other thing is that they actually would love to have somebody with more experience. And that I think that's the other thing is that what a job advertisement is a laundry list of, oh, we'd love to have this. And sort of like on the other side, it's, oh, it's good to want things. It's super good to want things. But you're not going to get that. Like no senior developer is going to get that junior level, like that, the Java job that you need, that you're going to be just like, building CRUD apps on the back end and nothing else. They're going to be going for more like things that are more interesting, things that pay a lot more. Like a lot of times you'll see these like mid or senior level job positions out there that are paying junior wages. That's the hint. That's a junior job position. One of your favorite things about when you worked at Formidable is that we had an advertised position called Future Senior Engineer. It was for juniors with non-traditional backgrounds. Yeah, there's other little tricks that companies do. Like it's just they're trying to avoid the word junior. Sometimes even mid. It just depends upon the what's happened with like advertisement and jobs in the past. Like if they get tons of resumes that are really low quality, they're going to avoid trying to hire it in that same way again. And so you need to start looking in a few months once you have finished what you're working on. Yeah, you work on you're more of like contract based, right? So you have to go find new contracts every time you finish one, right? I have not done that myself. I've worked for consultancies in the past, and but that we had a sales team that looked for the contracts for us, which was super nice. I'm glad I didn't have to do that. Of course, that limits the money I make in too. But yeah, back to the hiring thing. It's so if you are looking for a more junior position, it's important to apply for the more senior positions, the more senior looking positions. It later on, you'll get to the point where you can recognize, oh, there is no way seniors are actually going to apply for this position. They're really looking for a junior. By the time you generally will recognize that, you're probably not a junior anymore, and therefore it won't. That lesson won't apply. So it really it's a catch-22. It's a not great position to be in. So basically, just apply anyways and make them turn you down. Don't turn yourself down without, early. Like there's no benefit to that. Just make them do that. Consulting was the hands down most beneficial thing you ever did for your career. You learned the hard lesson early. The hardest problems in software are not technical. They're people, process, and organization. Truer words have never been spoken. Those are, software. One instructor I worked with when I was teaching used to say that the most important, and of course, bear in mind, we're in the United States, so the most important language in programming is English. But I suppose it's the most important language is whatever your client speaks, right? Because you can't build something without really knowing if you're solving a problem, and that's your client, right? And understanding that, the most important skill is empathy. Oh, that is so true. Empathize with your client, empathize with your team members, empathize with everything, really. It's so important. Empathize with yourself. That's another one. And then a last thing is if you're looking for a company and you're just not getting any hits right now, and we're in a weird place with hiring in the tech for programming. The tech side of companies, so companies that literally do programming as their primary job, I would say that's a rough job. That's a rough market right now. But every company needs a programmer. They may not know that, but almost every company needs a programmer, either full-time or just as a consultancy to help them out sometimes. Those companies are booming right now, at least in the United States. And so if you want a remote job in the United States, see if you can network your way into them. That's going to be rougher and tougher without some sort of inside people to help out. But if you ever get a first job, then the second one and third one becomes a lot easier. So networking opportunities, I don't know about remote ones. I've not worked remote where I'm trying to find a first job, especially in another country. So I don't have any information there. You could do things try to speak at meetups, try to apply to speak at conferences. If you ever get accepted to speak at a conference, they usually pay for your ticket in, which is the networking opportunities. Try to get yourself known, or at least something you can put in your resume so that we can apply through alternative methods. just sending applications in through clicking like the apply button is the lowest chance of getting a job. So it's actually the lowest what's the right words I want to use here? It's the least valuable action for the time that you'd spent to get a job. Anything networking is going to be infinitely more valuable for you, but also networking takes longer for it to come to fruition. So start networking immediately before you need the job, and then you can sort of like apply for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes a day. And then the rest of it is going to be try to do things to get yourself in front of people who might need a software engineer. And those are all like really tough things. But when you're trying to find a job, remember, you are a sales person. You are selling yourself. You are the product in this case. And so feel how you will about sales. That's kind of what you have to do. And if you're remote, there are some companies that specialize in helping remote. So maybe try to like find some recruiters or some of these like placement companies that like do help with remote. They might be able to help you out. They will take some of your income as theirs. That's essentially the fee that you'll pay. But it might be worth it for long term, where you can pay, like you can work for a year or two and then potentially move on to just solo on your own. I've worked with companies outside the United States that like provided me team extension members, and they've been wonderful and fantastic. So you'd like to find something with a focus on Rust, so you think getting these crates published might help your chances. Yeah, you can put that in your resume. You can go on the meetup talk circuit around the globe. That could help. Sell yourself through like meetup talks, because that sets your that makes it so people are like, oh, you are an expert at this. Both like the thing that you're doing, but also just the generic Rust thing, which is also really nice. All right, that was my thing on the job market and hiring, and it sucks. It's tough right now. It's weird. Good luck out there if you're searching. Stay as positive as possible. Just like hang out with people who are also searching, and just like chat each other up. Just like keep each other's keep all of your spirits as high as possible. All right, for our project today, yesterday we finished writing the queries. So I think next is I want to go into the router and update these. So first though, I might want to do something with the types. So the models essentially. I might want to, maybe I'll just do this in here. So if we look at author, we have things like create. Okay, so we have all the CRUD for author stuff. I want to change the responses of what we're getting. I think it's fine to just do like a tuple here, and then whatever we're sort of like responding with. So with create author, I want to create a, what do we call it? Models. Let's go to author. I want like a create author response. Okay, so if an author has these things, actually, you know what? I could just copy this entire thing. The real Enrico Palazzo. Hello, good morning. That CORM auto-generate code really confused you with trying to swap stuff to Surreal DB. Coming from someone that's total new learning about everything RustDB, web servers. Oh yeah. Are you talking about? So we have the. Is it the entity stuff? It's like entity, like these things. Oh, and also the multiple folders. Yeah. They the way they I think there's a lot because they have a lot of macros and you sort of have to choose which base file or module that you're using. But also like CORM, it's a full ORM. I'm guessing that Serial DB doesn't have an ORM, so essentially you're going from like an ORM, which does everything for you, or at least it tries to basically just something where you're okay. Let's just do this one thing. Data hello world. When we go to 0 to 100 real fast too, and of course you made. Yeah, that's yeah. It's something that like I've chatted with my mentor in the education space a bunch with. Is it's really it's kind of funny that so many people are like, oh man, this course is too long, but like if I'm making it, it's already compressed, and it takes a lot. Like there's a lot to go into this stuff. It's kind of it's strange how often we run into, oh man, we shouldn't, like, it shouldn't take us that much to learn like this database type thing, but database type thing is actually complex. There's a lot to it, or it's super complicated, so there's a lot to it. Yeah, the new one I'm gonna I'm hoping that I can make it a little bit easier to get into. And we're starting with CORM, but eventually I'm going to make it so that you can do any technology for this, and I think that'll be fine. It's like yeah, I could see that. I'm creating, so right now what I'm doing is I'm creating these assessments, which are essentially like they're not quite the follow alongs that I had on, but they are like a test almost. You can imagine them. It's gonna be okay. You write like, you start with this thing which is started but doesn't have everything in there, and there's a solution branch that you can go take a look at. And there's tests to know whether or not you've done it correctly. That's the only thing I can think of to make it better. And then lots of like more articles of just like, okay, well, here's how to do queries. Here's how to do these things. Here's how to do all these other things. I think that could help out a bunch. But as I said a long time ago when I first started doing these, would be we are every time I do a course, it improves by like 10%. And then just over time, we'll get better and better and better. Ooh, but these ones have, because it's options. So I almost need to do a try from. I mean, I guess I don't need to use that else one. I could do, I've done that pattern everywhere, but the other pattern I can do is do value.id. It'd be okay or else. And then this would be the models error, missing field, ID. And so that gives me out that. That might be a little bit easier. Okay, so then in this case with a 200, we're going to do a status code and a create author response here. And then if there's a failure, I think that we can do a status code and basically a string. As just a message. All right, let's reset this. Okay, so we're taking in state, and we're taking in the author. That's the create author JSON. Now this is the create author one. So I want, this doesn't need to be that. This could be just, this is an author that's coming in. And I can do that because everything is an option in there. Pollux, hello. How are you doing today? So let's see, I get the database. I want to, it's not API, it would be, author queries, insert authors, spate.db, and then also hand it, okay, so I want to be the create author. I think it's a try into, so that so new author. I think it's a try into. I have to map the error. Oh, and I don't have to return error. I just return the thing that's the error, right? So we're going to do status code, internal server error, and a string. And attempting to try into it, actually, I can probably just do the message of what this is. That could be. That could be that. Why are you upset? That becomes a result with the status code. Oh, because you don't know what that is. That's fine. You're about to find out what it is. So then I do create author here. Wait, so this is we map error again. This one we don't necessarily know exactly what that is. Oh, so this one, if you're failing here, this is not an internal server error. This is the conversion, which means it's a 400. So this is a bad request. This one is an internal server error. And then I just want that to be whatever I make. So okay. Katali, hello. How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Pollux. It's nice to be on the latter half of the week. And I'm able to do fun things at work. I've been working on an experimental experimental sort of like play around with this technology, see if we can do some fun things. I complained about documentation for Google APIs in Discord. That was fun. All right, so that gives me that. Okay, so then I get the author back, and then I want to respond. Then I want to turn this into the create author response, so that which is another try response, isn't it? But we shouldn't ever have that problem. But we'll see. Sharper guy, hello. First stream you've seen with Edge. I guess I'm not too shocked about that. I think some streamers were taking a look at it a short while ago, and then I sort of joined in with that, and then I just stuck with it. I like it so far. I use it here, I use it on my other profile when I'm not streaming, and I use it at work now too. I like it a lot. Did you work in something related to health, or was that someone else? Nope, that's me. I work in health education. So the company I work at creates virtual reality health training courses, if that makes any sense. So they're not necessarily like courses. Like, we have grades on them. We score you. But it's generally not like a full curriculum replacement. It's more of like an assessment type thing. And it's all virtual reality. You tried it out, you just can't bring yourself to use it so far without an inbuilt session switcher to use to the Tmux workflow, I guess. Oh, I haven't. Yeah, I generally don't. I never really use sessions in Tmux. I think usually if I want something else, I just create a new tab for it. But also, I'm the type of person, and I have a very sort of like strange workflow compared to everybody else. I tend to turn my computer off at the end of the day, and so all my sessions would be killed anyways. So therefore, I mean, I guess like, yeah, with Tmux, there's a plugin where you can like, even on a reboot, you can like restore some of the sessions, but I don't know. I never really trusted those. So it always just quit out of everything. And if I have like SSH sessions that I'm reconnecting to, those would be fine here too. So I don't know. You're currently working on some heart visualizations for a university thing. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I don't know if we show people's heart. A lot of it is like things like ACLS or fire in the operating room, things like that. And those are not, you don't usually see inside the patient for those things. If you see the inside the patient, it's much worse. That's generally not a good thing. Yeah, absolutely. You can send me a DM. I don't know how much I actually can answer that because I'm on the website of things, and a lot of like the animations and other stuff I have no like good insight into. Hey, Zilby, welcome. All right, you're really close. All right, where are we here? Okay, so I need to turn this into a create author response. So we're going to try into this. We're going to map the error. And then this one is an internal server error, but I don't want to ever like announce what this is because this is also like just my problem. So do a tracing error. It's error converting created author to response. And then we'll return a status code. It's definitely an internal server error. And then the message would be and you don't know what the type that is until I finally end it at the end. So we're going to do okay. We'll do the status code, created, and response. And then you know what's going on. So there we go. You're happy. Oh, right. This has to be a JSON response. Did I do that correctly I did not do that correctly in here. You need to be a JSON. Like that. And then the string is fine. Oh, and you're a tuple. Okay, that is create author. Done. All right, so Zilby, you moved. Okay, let's come back to here. Hi. Oh, sorry. Nope. Just moving things around to reposition your camera. Can't really get a good angle on his little head. I guess this is as good as I can get right now. All right, so that's create one author down. So that let's see. Then we can the reads, right? So CR, we have reads, we have get one author. We're gonna take into state. We're gonna take into path for what we're gonna grab. We're gonna do a response. Status code is 200 with an OK normally. And then I want to respond with a, so this is a create author response, but really what I probably want to do is change this to, this is just really author response, right? So I updated that both places. you to be just author response. And down here, we're going to return with an author response. And then if you fail, return the tuple, a status code, and a string. So looking at that, this is a pretty standard thing that I'm doing for the error. So let's actually head into router mod and create a type here. So this is going to be a route handler response, like route handler error response. Error response. And you're just going to be that with the status code. But you always choose the wrong one in a string. Okay, so then in get one author, I can update you. You are going to return the error response. Oh, and I want to update you too. Okay, so create author's done. Get one author. So we have the state, we have the path. We're going to return a JSON with the right thing and an error response. That's great. And then everything else gets to be sort of its, we'll update you now. Okay, so first off, we need, I guess we'll just do the query to get the author. And it's a maybe author, right? That's the big thing. Is like there's a. I'll do this one step at a time. That'll make it a little bit easier. So go to author queries. Get author by ID. And then our error response, that's going to be status code. This is definitely an internal server error because it can successfully not get anything, which is then that option. So internal server error is just, okay, this. And then okay, so that gives me an option with an author. I want to then grab that out. Pollux, am I in Seattle? No, I am not. I'm a little bit further south and east, so I'm closer to the middle of the country. I'm in Colorado. Yeah, it's a lot sunnier here, and it rains less. Well, I think it rains less than Seattle. It's been raining a lot this year. I've been to Seattle. Does that count? Okay, so let's do an okay or else then. So we're now going to unwrap this, or if it's not the author, we're going to have an error. And so then okay or else, this will be, I don't really have an, okay, so this is now the option, right? Okay, so you are status code. So here we have to make the decision. What status code are we going to do if we didn't find it? It doesn't count. Okay, fine. You're having an amazing time using Remix. I have not used Remix. I think I've heard of some other people using it though. Are you building is it like normal web apps that you're building, or is it like something else? I don't really remember what Remix does. Is it something that allows you to use like React but with something else to build like static web apps or web pages? You're rewriting bespoke again. Okay. Into Remix. Okay. So is it a full rewrite everything in Remix? Those are fun. Those are fun because it's a new technology to play with and the domain is familiar, so you don't have, like, the only thing you have to focus on is the new technology. You're ditching GraphQL on anything with persistent servers and you're going all serverless. Oh, interesting. So how are you storing the data if it's no persistent servers? Is that yeah, I'm curious about your architecture then in that case. Oh, it's CloudDB like CockroachDB or Postgres by Fly. Okay, so you're using fly.io. You're like the 5th or 6th person I've heard reference Fly in like the last 3 days. I'm hearing it all over the place. I'm gonna have to add that to my list to seriously look into. Okay, you'll be using CockroachDB with Fly? Like, does Fly provide you CockroachDB in the cloud? You just couldn't bear yourself to replicate the DB in your client anymore. Is your client web, or are you using some other technology to make it more like desktop using web technology? Apollo client. That's well, right. That's with GraphQL for Apollo. But I meant like your client full app, is that running as like a web application? So using something like Tori, or is it a browser as the client? So somebody that you just uses in the browser, and that you previously had essentially a database in the browser too. Because now I need to go look up. There was a discussion yesterday in databases in one of the tech discussion discords that I was in. Colorado Tech Community. That's what it was in. Where's the message link? Okay, so it's just the browser and Apollo client source normalized cache your DB. So every mutation you had to manually change stuff. Oh, that's gross. That's terrible. I think what Demolroy was suggesting is that if it was a more desktop app, even if it was with web technology, you can have a local database with SQLite. You need JSON. It's really sad how like SQLite is so close in so many cases, but because it's a little bit too light, sometimes it's not helpful. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Where is that? I want. Okay, give me this. Copy link. That's what I want. Okay, so that takes me. All right. So, there was a discussion in that Colorado Tech Community Discord yesterday, showing off this project, SQL Edge, which the idea is you have a centralized Postgres database, so it has to be Postgres, and then you can have a SQLite database on your client. So this would only work if your client was just like a Tory app on an actual system that you can install stuff like, have SQLite on. And then you run this SQL Edge, and this becomes essentially a read replica server where it's reading from Postgres and replicating into SQLite. And I double checked. There are ways to filter out data. So you could basically say, like, you get all of your user information, you get all the things you're allowed to see, and then everything else you don't get. And then whenever you do a push, like you want to insert into SQLite, it's slow, unfortunately, because you actually do it to SQL Edge, essentially. SQL Edge inserts into Postgres as, unfortunately, a synchronous operation. Postgres then will obviously sync back to SQLite. So your queries can be extremely fast because they're all local to the system. You could run SQLite in a browser? Wait, really? I hadn't even considered that. Huh, interesting. I wonder if SQL Edge has to run on that system, or if you can have SQL... Oh no, you probably want SQL Edge to run just on a server somewhere. And then it would work. So I haven't actually played with this, but yeah, I think it's still pretty new. But it's definitely interesting idea. And if you could run SQLite in the browser, then you actually could have your read database in the browser as an app there, And then you can have essentially full queries as you just do SQL queries locally, instantaneous data. Offline first potential is huge. Absolutely. Well, yes and no, right? So the problem is that when you're doing inserts, you're not actually inserting into SQLite, because I think it actually says here. Where is it? Maybe it's not in here. It's somewhere. Yeah, okay. So SQL Edge serves reads from local copy and forwards writes to the upstream Postgres server. So you're not really writing to SQLite. You're really writing to Postgres, but it looks like you're writing to SQLite. So as long as you can like cache those writes, read only for offline mode would be really good. Yeah, and you can use web workers to batch them, right? So like, oh hey, we have no like that write failed due to network connectivity. Let's just throw that into an array and we'll try it again later. That works out. That would work out really well. But yeah, it's like offline potential for this huge. I'm looking forward to seeing how this project matures, because like its state is alpha, and like you can't use this in like a business case when it's still changing that much. But maybe someday we'll take a look at this. Play around with it. I'm logged in here. Let's go ahead and save this. All right, I've been avoiding this. So, the error code. So if we do not find this, if we cannot find the author in the database, there's a couple choices that we can do. We can do this as a 400 error, because like, hey, you as a client, you screwed up and asked me for an author that doesn't exist. It could be a 404 error. Or it could be, it could be a 200, with just nothing in it as the response. So, I almost want to do a 404. The specs for HTTP status codes are unfortunately not super clear on this. It's not. It basically says like don't do 500s. 404 basically means no content, like it couldn't find the thing, but that could include like any subsequent sort of queries, so to a query to a database, but it could also be that it just only for the URL, like that route doesn't exist. So it's like, I don't know, I go back and forth on this. If I do a 200, I'm basically returning a 200 and nothing. So in a way, I would rather this just be not found. You just go with 418. Hey, couldn't find it, so server transformed into a teacup. Tea kettle. That's like the equivalent of like the client. So like the browser said, oh, teapot. That's okay. The client says, hey, do you have that author? I really want to like go check out any books from that. And you go and like take a look, and then you just never come back. And so the person wanders back into the bookstore saying like, hey, did you find? And like you're just holding a teapot in front of your face. And every time that they're like, hey, did you're just like drinking. And you're like, no, I'm just a teapot now. Okay, so if I do that, okay or else, which means I can question mark you. That gives me the author, in which case now I can respond with okay, JSON author.
You don't make up for your sins in the church. You do it in the streets.
Right, you need a string. So this would be book, author doesn't exist, or author not found. Okay, and then you are an author. Oh, but I'm returning an author response. So I want to then do this as a try into. Which then means I need to do a map error. And with this one, that's an internal error. Hopefully it shouldn't ever happen. But if it does, I don't want to tell users about this one. So in this case, if this would be an internal server error, and you would be okay. So now I have the author response, and we return that. And now get one author is done. Stacking, hello. You feel like every time you come into chat, we're still stuck on the shitty HTTP spec dilemma. I know. It's a skill that I have. Is just like timing things that whenever you show up, we're just talking about 404 errors and whether or not they should be 404 errors, or we should just give up and just turn into 418 errors, or just give up completely and go become llama farmers. Also, hello, how are you doing today? Good thing we aren't trying to get them to fix the refer typo error in the spec. That thing isn't changing. Ever. I don't think that thing's ever going to change. Since you finished your battle with JavaScript, now you can go back to PHP. Hooray! Yeah. Well, which version of PHP? The hooray really is like, I hope that it's like at least 7.1. 7.48 would be better. Because if we're talking about like 5 or 4 with PHP, no, I would rather go back to JavaScript. What was it? 4? JavaScript 3 than PHP 4 or 5. Eight with a style guide as if we were back on 5. Oh no. Wait. So does that mean you can't use the really cool, good features of 8? They won't let you do that? You have to use. Yeah. Oh god. No, that's not better. That's not better. I'm sorry. I've worked with modern PHP. It's a great language now. It just, you have to work with modern PHP. And you have to work with modern programming styles. Technically, it is self-imposed, but I'm keeping with the rest of the ecosystem. No shorthand arrays, nothing. Types? Are you allowed to use types? Like, you can actually have types in PHP now. Absolutely not. Oh, of course. Why would we have types? Yeah, so it's something that was starting with like PHP 7 something. You can actually set types for in PHP in function signatures and even variable declarations. Obviously, you can skip that because they're backwards compatible, but you can say, okay, this is like this very specific, class. Like class, it's a very classic, like, class name, variable name, which then is your editor. If your editor is set up for any kind of modern PHP, will then capture that and say, hey, you're not using the right type. So like it's basically like TypeScript for PHP. Matched expressions too, but you can't use those either. I'm so sorry. That's like them handing you this, like, your favorite food. It like has all of these really cool, like, and it's decked out. It's like the best version of your favorite food ever. And they put it in front of you underneath a glass case. And then you're told that if you touch it, you're fired. It's like the marshmallow experiment, except you never get the marshmallow. It's just waiting forever. Is this confused about what I want it to turn into? It might be. I want you to turn into a vec of author response. Oh, because it's a try into. It's a try into, not an into. Oh, yeah, that would. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. There's like a try map, right? No, I don't. Ooh, I don't see like a try map or anything. Oh, that's too bad. Fortunately, you're nearly done working with that. Okay, that's nice. You can look forward to using modern tech again. It is interesting every once in a while to go back in time and look at old stuff or like work with really old technology and then just remember, man, like even 5 years ago, things sucked. And we're in such a better place right now when it comes to programming. Yeah, there's no try map, right? There's no map or error or anything else like that. That's unfortunate. So let's do that. So we grab the authors, but it's a vec of authors, and so I want to do an into on it, but it has to be a try into, unfortunately. If I want to return early, if any of them fail, and I want to handle this, I'm gonna have to just do a normal for loop for it. So I feel like, am I missing something? Is there a way to run a map, but like use one of the tries, like something that returns a result? I think that's I've only seen it on like a for each, right? I can collect into a result vec That's true. So I can collect into a result vec. And then what do I do with that? I want to then unwrap each one. Oh, Zilby, you're back. Once I have a result vec, wait, is that going to be a result vec? No, that's going to be a vec of results. It's going to be a vec of results. So like if I didn't do this, we go back to you being authors. So I want to then into iterator, we're gonna map it shortcuts early with the first error when you collect to a result. Oh, okay. That's the key. So then can I try into here? So try into with a result and a vec and an author response. I did that wrong. Enum takes two generic. Oh, right. Okay, so that's the. This is if it's successful, and then nope. This is if it's successful, and then can I say that? If you're not successful, okay. So that gives me authors there, and then I want to. Let's map error. I want to take this here and return you. Question mark u, which then becomes a vec of author response, and I return that. Ooh, okay, that works. Yeah, I didn't realize that you can collect into a result and it just shortcuts early. That's nice. That means I can stay on the sort of like the functional path here, which is great. I like it. And so far, I'm liking the errors that I can do because I can customize the message going out, and customize which message like gets logged out. So I can know specifically exactly where things are going on just by looking at the logs, which is always nice. All right, so that's get all authors. So that's the CR in it. So CRUD. So update. We have an atomic update next. So update author. We take in a state. We take in a path. And then we have the update author. So this is actually going to be, we want to take in the author. I'm using, well, So not really. I'm using error for a lot of the errors. I could do this error, and I've experimented back and forth with creating an actual error, but I want to be, I've tried collecting, like catching every error and converting it into like my own custom error, and I just have no patience for it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So what I instead do is just bubble up the errors as generic errors until the top level thing where I have to handle them. And then I just log them out, put a label on it. And if it's something like this where I have to return an error elsewhere outside of the system, I just put like a generic string. Or if I know that it's going to be my internal error, then I just can use that and throw that like a message in there in. So that's my error handling system right now. It's not great, but well, I know this error is a crate for helping me do everything like that, but still I have to convert those all over. So I'm using error instead of this error. Error is cloned essentially from this error with like some extra puns added in. So basically allows me to do the same thing. So here, if we go and take a look at my author queries, it's like update author here, I'm returning an error. And so error in this case is EYRE, not error. So it is essentially very similar to a, oh wait, no, it's not this error. It's an anyhow error. It's a clone of anyhow. Sorry. Yeah. No, I got them backwards. Yeah. So it's, I know, error. I also like their displays. So Jane Eyre, who is the author of this crate, has basically written a really cool error display sort of like crate. I know the error handling crates are really easy to get mixed up. All right, so what are we doing here? We are, okay, so I'm taking in, for update author, I'm taking in a path, I'm taking in an author. I want, okay, so I'm returning, in this case, I want to return a status code. And then for you, an error. An error response. Whereas you have a project using both. Yeah, if you want to like have any custom errors, so I do have both in here too. Well, I don't have anyhow because I use error. So instead I have this error and I have error. But yeah, it gets easy to confuse them all. You don't bother with this error because you don't like the trade-off of increasing build times to avoid implementing error display and from. I try to minimize the usage of it. And so far it's been fine. Plus this computer is really fast at compiling, so it doesn't bother me that much. If I was on an older computer though, it probably sucks a lot more. And cloud builds are probably much worse too. All right, let's reset with you. Okay, so update error. So let's see what I want to do. First thing, I need to convert the author into the update author. Which I think is just, oh, I think it's a try into, isn't it? I have this atomic update author, which then is a try from. Yeah. Okay, so I'll do an author equals I like how Rust Analyzer is really trying to help me out right now, but it has no clue what I'm trying to go into. Now this one I can send back. This one I'm using this error for. Okay, so you don't know what that is, but that's fine. So we convert you into an atomic update error. And you'll figure that out very quickly. So then I want my response, which I don't need to catch anything back with because it doesn't really exist. So then we're going to do an author queries, update author. And then I just return no content if everything works out just fine. Okay, and that is update author. All right, next up, delete author. We're going to take in a state, we're going to take in a path, and I had a lot of stuff in here. This will be simpler now. Our result, we're going to just do a status code. With the no content, and then here's going to be the error response. I guess we can start with the OK status code, no content if we're successful. All right, and then that should be, and I guess we're just going to do an author query. Error deleting error. Error deleting author. Yeah, so we deleted almost like a page worth of content in delete author, and now it's just this, which is so much easier. So that's that is all of the author routes, which is nice. What are you upset about? That's why you're upset. I deleted too much. No more warnings, no more errors in here. I think we can git commit this. All right, still plenty of errors. So next up would be let's see. We have the router. Okay, so we did author. So router author. Next up would be, let's do book author next, and then we'll do book last. So all right, create book author, bring in our state. All right, so we take in the book author, which has the author ID and the book ID. That's fine. I think this is a no response. Well, I do a created. I do a created with a, like the thing that's created, which is the book author, which I don't know if that's, I think for this one, like there's no need for any data coming back. I think we could just send a 201 with nothing else. So we'll just do a status code here. And we'll do an error response. Okay, so we created, and you don't need that back because this isn't actually, this is just creating the association. You like the flexibility of Axum, but you think in this case you would introduce a custom error type and implement into response to avoid returning tuples. Yeah. I've gone back and forth on that. And I want to continue playing around with like custom responders to play with that, because I'm not completely sure how I feel about it yet. Just by going back to tuples, I've reduced a huge amount of complexity that I was forced to write inside the handlers. So ironically, having a more complex return type means less complex code. But I also see the benefit. You just like multi-line tuples? Yeah. I could see that too. I mean, it's only like 2 items. It's only 2 things in the tuple. I'm not sure how I would change it. Like how I think I'm with you that I want it to be different, but I'm not sure what the different would be. Okay, so I've taken this book author. I want to, in this case, just return book author queries, associate book with author, and yeah, I don't even return anything from inside of here. So DB, so delete.db, and then the book author, wait. And I think one of the things is that I don't want, that's the other thing, is like, I don't necessarily want the error type that is created by these functions to know how exactly to respond outwards. But at the same time, I'm already doing enough like conversions of types over here. Like there's some part of me that doesn't want to do like a ton of error types where I'm doing like an into for error types. So I don't know. This is one of those things where I feel like I'm going to go back and forth for a very long time on it before eventually either I settle on a solution or the Rust they have an error working group, right? The Rust error working group will eventually come up with a better error system, and then we'll just move forward with that. What? No, stop. Every once in a while, I get into the position where I'm not in the right mode, and then I just like can't stop myself from keep on typing, but I know that things aren't working right, and I just need to like stop myself, slow down, and just like slam escape a few times to like get into a known state. Okay, tracing error. So Yes, that's what we'll do with create book author then. He looked up with like the really big eyes, which I think means that he's slightly scared. Or he has something to be concerned about, that he was like on high alert. His tail's not thrashing though, so I think he's okay. He wanted to play earlier, and I played with him just a tiny bit. Then he ran off, so I think that he has a lot of energy. Okay, over pet. So we did authors. We did book authors. Now it's time to do books. Okay. Create book. We'll take in the state and we take in a book. That's correct. And then for you, we'll take in a status code and a... Okay, so I need a book response. Which really, this should probably be just a clone of this with, I think it should be this without the options. Yeah, I think those are all fine. I never finished writing update book the import for this for it. You probably need to be a try. Hold on. You're gonna be right in models error. So I have two this. No, I only have one this error. The models error is the this error thing, and the other one is just a custom type alias. Okay. And I could probably be clever. Nope. Name change price. Ooh, I forgot. Oh, that would have been so good. Almost. Okay, so I'm gonna search for semicolon. Almost got it in one go. Okay, so we have all the things now. We return self. Okay, self. Okay, so we got you. And then book response, I want to do a try from. Okay, so models error, missing field ID. Don't forget the question mark. All right, so then I want this, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 more times. So let's see. So we have one, so total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, so I got all those. Did not mean to do that. Go back to single cursor mode. Okay, then we do self. And I return okay with that. So much faster when I use multi-cursors like that. All right, so then we can go back to book. These are the route handlers. Okay, so we take in a book. I'm going to return a book response. Create book, yeah, so it's just a single one response. And then you're gonna be a error response. All right, so first off, I want to change that book. So let's shadow the book and we'll convert it into the appropriate type. So I want you to now be an insert book, a create book. An insert book. And then you'll be the tuple here with the, so this is going to be status code 400, so bad request. And I can just give it this. So missing name, missing whatever. Is book just directly coming from the database table? No, it's not directly coming from the database table. It's being converted back into book. So if we go into our book queries or insert book here, I'm taking in that insert book type and I'm returning a book. So in the meantime, I do get this book model, so the model of a book, and I convert it into this type here. So there's some levels of conversions that are happening in between it. So I'm not trusting, like in that case, I probably could trust what's coming back from the database, but I'm not writing it as if I'm 100% trusting it, which is super good. Like if you're handling passwords or something else, this is what like I'd probably recommend to basically make sure that you don't have it in there. Create book. I don't want just status code, do I? This is going to be a tuple with status code and a book. A JSON book response. Okay. All right. So did I just delete that conversion I did? I think I just did it. Oops. I want insert book equals. Oh, hold on. Let's undo back until I had. Okay, so I had that. I think I had everything right and I just freaked out. Oh, this is wrong. I needed you to be JSON like that. Okay, so that gives me an insert book, and then I need to convert the insert book into a book. No, then I need to do the insert, and then I get the book back. So getting back to the book again. So book equals. And so if I do this, I don't actually need. I kind of like not defining the type there so I can just see, okay, it thinks that it really is that thing. So it's map error. Okay, so that gives me a book again. I want to take that book and convert it into the error response, but I can do that with a try into, and we'll map error. So I can see like, okay, we're missing the ID, missing whatever. And this will be a status code internal server error. Okay, so that gives me a book, which doesn't know what it is yet. And then I'm going to return an OK. Status code created, and then JSON. Expected one argument found two. Oh, tuple. There we go. Now create book is happy. Okay, get one book is next. Taking the state, taking the ID. For this, we'll just do a status code. No. Forget one book. It's a 200 OK, so I really just want a vec of book response. And then you are going to be error response. Okay. Right, okay, so there's an error getting the book. Get that. Okay, so that gives me an option book. Why are you upset? Couldn't convert. Right. To own that. Game Stylist, hello. How are you doing today? Now I want, no, not to own it. Now I want to okay or else this. And we're going to return this error. So it's going to be a status code not found. That's what we decided. And the message is book not found. And we question mark you. All right. Okay, so that gives us that. And then we have the book, but I want to try into. We're going to map the error. CMS completed. It's completed to the point where I think I can do like an alpha, so like pre-release type cohort. So now we're working on content. And you don't know what this is. And so then we're going to return it. Okay. Get one book does not need to be a vector here, does it? It just is going to be a book response. No, it's going to be JSON book response. Okay, and that is get one book. Next up, get all books. So you will be a vec. No, you will be a JSON with a vec, a book response. And then if you fail, there'll be an error response. Okay, so that gives me a vec of book, and then I want to convert this into a book response. So then I'm going to do try into. Ooh, but it's a vec book response. If I do try into, I don't think that actually does it on. That doesn't do it into everything, does it? Okay, so hold on. We need to. Okay, so I mapped the error to turn it into a Vecca book, so I want to then turn it into an iterator, and then I want to map. We're gonna do try into, and we're gonna collect it into a result of a vec of book response. Okay, I think we're good there. Then I want to map the error. That now gives me a Vecca book response. Now I can come down here. We're going to turn OK, JSON, books. Right, the second generic. Can I do that? No. No, I don't want, it's not there. It's there. Okay. All right. You're happy. Get all books done. Update book. So taking the state, taking the path, taking the book. We're going to return a result with status code. That's fine. And then you're an error response. Okay, so if you work, we're gonna turn okay, status code, no content, and that's gonna be fine. Rip Pain redeemed change the music station. Yeah, we've got. I am listening to. What is it? Chill Hop Radio right now. Let's see what else they've got. NCS is available. Outer Tone, maybe. Stream Beats. Let's see. So if I go to NCS, where do I go to find you? Okay, go to your website. Wait for it to load. Yeah, it was nice using the Twitch radio station, but they completely shut it down. So they now have a link of radio stations that I can listen to, and it's just usually like the previous one is just, well, the current one is a YouTube video. This one is apparently not loading. It's just frozen. Which is unfortunate. Okay, so NCS doesn't work. How about... outer tone. Okay, they have YouTube. You don't have anything live. Okay, they have. Yeah, let's play. Oh no, I need to stop the other one. Stop. Okay, this is electronic music. See how this is. Let me know how you feel about this. Sweet Radish, hello. Good morning. How high is my monitor? So I have two monitors in front of me. So I have my normal coding monitor. So like when I'm normally coding, I have this one. And then above this, I have a second monitor. And that's where my stream setup is. So it's a 2-computer setup. The second monitor is the Windows computer, and this one is the Mac. So that's why it looks. And the camera is not quite positioned above the first monitor. So it looks like I'm really looking up when I'm looking at it. I don't really need to use that monitor very often, but like when I need to go and use it, then it's like, ooh, looking up. All right, update book. We're almost done with these. We've taken state, taken a path, taken a book. I'm gonna return status code. Oh, I already have this set up, don't I? So we're just gonna do a book query. Oh no, I want to convert the book into it. So let book equals. I want to do an into essentially, don't I? So it's really, I could do a from. This is an atomic update. An update book. Try from the book. And this error, I think I can just, this error I can just do a format. Okay, so that gives me an update book. And then I want to send this into the query. So I think that's it. That's all I really care about here. And then I return, if you successfully get here, we get to no content. Okay, so that's our update book. And lastly, we have delete book. So we've taken a path, we've taken our state. I guess like the order of these don't really matter as long as I'm not consuming the body, which in delete I don't need to. I return a status code, and here I'll return a error response. Okay, and that's it. Fairly simple. So I think the only part of the rewrite left would be the tests, which I don't really have time to get into. So we'll probably work on those tomorrow, and we'll just sort of end a little bit early today. Let's go ahead and commit all of this stuff. And I'll get you pushed up. You're all happy. Oh, you know what? I should fix the warnings. Okay, nothing there. Hey, we're compiling again. So the project is compiling again. That's all great. I think now we have a bunch of things in tests that aren't used, that aren't correct. Yes, that's all in tests. You were in field assignment outside of initializer for an instance created with default. Okay, fine. I think what this really wants me to do then. Oh yeah, this is weird. This is weird the way this works. So I want to do author. No, not that model. So entity authors. And so I don't want an entity. I want a model. Okay, so I create the new author. I then save that author. I attempt to create it into the model, question mark that, then go into. Okay. And so then we're good to go here. All right. So that's happy there. These are all on tests. Unnecessary closure used to substitute value for option none. All right, so what would you do? Just use okay or instead of okay or else. Okay. I wasn't sure if it wanted me to use okay or else because I am creating this in here and that takes up a tiny bit of memory. But it really is just it's a stir. It's a static stir. Oh, I guess like, you know what? It's because it's a static stir. It's in the code anyways. So it's not really taking anything else. So that's why okay or is better. I have some reds here. Oh, that must be tests. Because this is compiling fine. Unnecessary closure. Okay, so same problem. Can I do, let's see, there's code action. Is there, perform all code actions? That'd be nice. Okay, so you are what? Code Axum Assessment, section booster, test author. Okay, so this is in the test. So we will, okay, so anything with like the little T in here is under tests. And that's the rest of these. Okay, so I will leave this until tomorrow. These might be test 2. There's a T in there as well. So that's okay. We're good. Good to go there. All right, fixed all the warnings. And I'll push that on up. Excellent. Then I think we'll go ahead and leave it here. It is 8:30. I usually stream till about 8:45 or so, but I don't think it's really enough time to start the next thing. So updating the test is going to be tomorrow. I should be here around 6 a.m. Mountain Time, go until around 8:45. If something does happen and I'm not able to stream, I usually tweet or X or whatever that's called out, and then also puts the message into Discord in case you're on there. So hopefully I will be here, and we'll continue working on this and see how far we can get with the tests. So with that, thanks everybody for hanging out today. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and I'll see you next time. Bye.